What's up? How you doing? Here we are again. Tonight we're doing some Italian sausages. We got some flat iron steaks, and we're doing some meatballs inside the kitchen, and asparagus. So very excited about that. Bought a new CD. It's Wanda Jackson Encore. I don't know if you can see that. I highly recommend this. I highly recommend it. It's a very good CD, good music on here. 8 songs, no filler. Big Baby, that's the #1 cut. It's a good song. 2 shots. You Drive Me Wild. Good Girl Down. It keeps right on hurting. You gotta stop. Treat Me Like a Lady. That's What Love Is. All of these songs really good. And we got a couple songs on here. It's tough to see in the dark here, but Joan Jett. Duets with Joan Jett. Ellie King. So this one here, Treat Me Like a Lady, Joan Jett is on that one, and That's What Love Is, Joan Jett. The first song, first cut, Big Baby. That's a good tune, really good tune. And if anybody doesn't know who Wanda Jackson is, she's a legend. She's been around a while. I think she's like, what is she, 82, 83, somewhere around there. And this is her last album, her last CD. It's got a picture of her inside of how she looks like now. Not bad. Good hairstyle. Just gonna reach in there and look at that. Before and after. So I heard it a few times, and each time it gets even better. Like I said, good tunes in here. Got pictures of her playing the guitar there. Got a picture in here, she's on the phone. And then she's with somebody here, I don't know who that is, I can't. But just want to say her voice is still very good. She's got a really good voice, even though she's in her 80s. I know I read somewhere that she said if you really listen, her voice sounds raspy or something. It does not. It does not sound raspy. This voice sounds like it belongs on a 40-year-old. It's a 40-year-old voice, not an 80-plus-year-old voice. So highly recommend this CD. Wanda Jackson. High quality. Anyway, so we're just gonna salt these things up and put them on the fire. I make everything with fire. That's why it's hot when you try and eat it after. It's one of the ingredients. Don't overcook the meat. You kill it, you know, you kill it. Kill the flavor. You dry it out, and just doesn't taste good. Don't worry about the bacteria. Bacteria is on the outside of meat. You kill it by cooking it, but you don't have to overcook it. It's not chicken, it's not pork, steak. A little salt and pepper, and that's it. That's it. Okay, everything's on the fire, on the grill. So, like getting albums from the legends, people that have been around a while, and they make something new. I get very excited. That's why I'm very excited. Next month, ABBA releases a new CD, new songs. It's the first one in 40 years. Very long time. Big fan of ABBA. But there was a song years ago by George Jones, which I love George Jones, and it was called "Who's Gonna Wear Their Shoes." We have talent now, but if you compare today's talent with the talent of the past in music, it's not even close. Back then, it was just a different style, different dedication. And you had to have real talent back then. There was no auto-tuning, there was no manipulation like today. They could manipulate certain things, but not like today. So the way they sang in the studios, the way it sounded live, pretty much. But George Jones is one of my favorite singers, not just country singers, just favorite singers of any kind of music. He had an album, one of his last albums that came out in the 90s, I think, and Choices. The Cold Hard Truth was on there. Really good song. Good instrumentation. The piano, awesome on that song. But George Jones, legend. Loved his music. Love his music now. But I like, you know, all kinds of music. But George Jones, he had the voice. Almost forgot the Anaheim Peppers. Look at that. Really good flavor in that. We do not have habaneros today or jalapenos, but these are great. You grill these, put them in a paper bag for 15 minutes, and then peel the skin right off, cut it up. I eat the seeds too because I love crunching on those little things. Cut it up and put olive oil, salt, pepper, put a little vinegar, and they're really good. Awesome. So another singer, which I've always been a fan of. It's a wimpy car trying to sound tough. That's a wimpy car. It's not a fast car. Wimpy. Anyway, another singer that I'm a big fan of is a guy named Dan Hill. Big fan of Dan Hill. Sometimes when we touch that song, when I was a kid, I couldn't get enough of that song. You feel that song. It's such a good song. Sometimes when we touch, the honesty is too much. And of course, he sang another song that I like, the First Blood theme. First Blood movie, at the end, where he sings Rambo's walking off with Colonel Trotman. That's what they're playing. They're playing that song. It's a really good song. But I'm a big fan of Dan Hill. I wish he would make more stuff, more material, more songs. But I don't know if he retired now. I've seen him on YouTube, recent videos. A little bit older. Still sounds good. Dan Hill. So anyway, we're gonna cook these up, put them on the grill, see what happens. Then there's another singer that I admire, Marty Balin, from the mighty Jefferson Airplane. Marty Balin. He put out an album in 1981 called Balin, his last name, and it had a song called Hearts. It broke the top 10 in 1981. I think it was number 8 on the Billboard 100. And I just love that song. It's such a great tune, good singing. I mean, awesome singing on that. And it's one of those songs where you actually feel, the lyric. You feel the emotion that they're projecting. I've always loved that song, and I think he recently died a couple of years ago, 2018, somewhere in there. But always been a big fan of Marty. That song was written by Jesse Barish. Good tune, good tune. And there's another song that I'm a big fan of. I don't remember the singer's name. It's a female singer. It was the theme song for a movie called Love at First Bite, and it's like a disco song. It's called I Love the Nightlife. Awesome tune. I love that tune. And I think she's still around performing. Maybe not right now with the pandemic, but she was around a while ago performing. Probably took a break now, but that is an awesome song. I actually saw that movie when it came out. Good comedy movie. I'm a big fan of George Hamilton. I had a friend when I was a kid. Her name was Elaine. Me and her were hanging out together from kindergarten all the way till 7th grade, and then I think she moved. Hadn't seen her for a long time. I went to high school, and one day I was sitting in the car in front of my house, and she walked by. Developed and everything, looked really good. But she was my very best friend when I was a kid, Elaine. So if Elaine's out there right now, drop me a line. But we hung around together all the time, kindergarten all the way to 7th grade. So who knows what happened to her? But anyway, the reason I bring her up is because her father looked like George Hamilton, and met him, and then her parents divorced, so I didn't see him again. But anyway, me and Elaine hung around all the time. So who knows whatever happened to her. Maybe she's on the air in WKRP in Cincinnati. You never know. You never know. Put the peppers in here, paper bag, seal it up for 10-15 minutes, even less, and then skin comes right off, and then you have a delicious pepper to eat. Anyway, another musician that I'm a big fan of, and I'm a big fan of this genre of music, Muddy Waters. Big fan of Muddy Waters. I love the blues, especially old-time blues, but I'm also a fan of modern blues. But the old stuff is untouchable. Muddy Waters, to me, is the king of the blues. I know there was a dispute about that with Howlin' Wolf, but for me, Muddy Waters is the top. I used to work at a place that I was able to have a radio on all the time, and I had the box set of Muddy Waters, Mackenzie Morganfield. I had the entire collection, and I would play every CD throughout the entire day. I was listening to Muddy Waters all day long back then, all day long. Love that song. You know, what's it say? The Bird's Nest on the Ground there, the Bird's Nest song. Love that song. You Shook Me, though, is my favorite. I love You Shook Me by Muddy Waters. Especially the one on the box set, because they have a few different versions of that tune, but the one on the box set is my favorite, You Shook Me. I love his guitar playing. I mean, he's one of the top guitar players. Awesome guitar player. I wish I was old enough to have seen him live. I think he died in 1981. I could have seen him. I was around in 81, but, you know, a little bit too young to see him, and I regret not being old enough, and I regret him not living long enough. Had he been around now, I would have seen him. I saw B.B. King a few years back, just before he died. He didn't do much singing, did a lot of talking during that concert, but you know, it was okay. It was okay. Didn't have to sing. He was a legend. Came in, he had a fancy coat around him. He had a couple of guys come take the coat off. They sat him down and he talked, told stories. He did play The Thrill Is Gone though. But you know, one of the newer songs that I like that B.B. King recorded, Mean and Evil. I love that song, Mean and Evil. But you know, I'm also a fan of all the other blues guys. John Lee Hooker, awesome. I used to go to the House of Blues all the time, and I'd listen to all these bands. There was a band that came from Harlem, New York, and a bunch of old guys, mid-70s and up, and they were drinking their scotch. I remember the piano player had a scotch thing going there, and the guitar player was sipping down a little bit drinky poo, but they were really good, from Harlem, blues guys. They can't get enough of the blues. You know, I like going into these dark places and listening to blues musicians, Delta blues, Chicago blues, Mississippi. And then there's another guy, Ronnie Earl and the Broadcasters. Big fan of his. Great guitar player. Not much vocals on there, but his guitar playing is I'm going to say second to none, but there's a lot of guys out there that are great. Joe Bonamassa, another great guitar player. But Muddy Waters for me, number one. I told you I played that stuff all the time.